Welcome once again to our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast, and we've been working our way through Revelation, and now finally, and what a relief it is, we are finally going to look at the eternal state, the eternal kingdom. Chapter 21 and 22 of Revelation is the fullest by far picture and understanding of the eternal state, what life will be like for us with the Lord forever. So we're going to take a rendezvous through that the next few days and find out what it is that the Lord has planned for us. And we start with chapter 21 and verse 1 with these words, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there's no longer any sea." So we start out with, I guess, a negative, if you want to call it that. The old heaven and the old earth are passed away. They're no longer. It's my understanding that they're gone. They've been annihilated. They've been destroyed. They've been replaced by a new heaven and a new earth. And it says there's no longer any sea. I'm not really sure the value or the importance of that. There's been different understandings, debatable views on that, but I'm not sure myself what that actually means. But we do know we have a new heaven and a new earth, and the old has passed away. So that's a wonderful thought. Now, verse 2 talks about a third location, our third place. It's called the New Jerusalem. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. So there's a third place, a new heaven, new earth, and a new Jerusalem. The new heaven and the new earth apparently are formed at this point in time, but the new Jerusalem apparently has already existed. It doesn't say that it's been created. It says it comes down apparently out of heaven from God at this point in time. And so this is something that has existed before. My opinion on that is that in John chapter 14, verse 2, when Jesus is talking to his disciples, and they're disturbed that he is going to leave them, and he says to them, "In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." I think Jesus was talking about this New Jerusalem right here. He is saying, I'm going to go away and I'm going to prepare a place for you. And you're going to come to be at that place, and I'm going to be there as well. I cannot imagine what else this would be if the old heavens and earth have been destroyed. What is it that the Lord is preparing for his children? This is a promise to his disciples that he's preparing a place for them. What could that possibly be? Well, I think the answer is found right here. It is what is called the New Jerusalem. And we'll get a better picture of what that New Jerusalem is a little later. But this is going to be the dwelling place of the saints for all eternity. We see a few things here about this New Jerusalem. First of all, it is a holy city. So holy speaks of usually the idea of separation. Holiness is a separation from things that are sinful. But often holiness has a moral implication as well, as most of us think of the word holy. Well, probably both of these are described here: a morally holy place, a separation from all that was before. It is a holy city. So it's not like any city the world has ever known. And then secondly, it's beautiful. It's made like a bride ready for her husband. So that's a picture going back throughout all antiquity, speaking of something beautiful. To see that bride ready for her husband on the wedding day, it's a picture of beauty. And then he goes on to talk a little bit more about this in verse 3. "And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them." So thirdly, we find that God is with us in this New Jerusalem. His presence is with us in a way that is not even true today. And so that's a third picture. And then fourth, he has a bunch of negatives. He says, "And he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will no longer be any death, or there will be no longer any mourning or crying or pain. The first things have passed away." And so the final picture that we'll look at today is the negatives. I think the New Jerusalem and our eternal state with him is so glorious and so wonderful that it really cannot be described. Just as we said last time, we really cannot understand or describe eternal punishment, so we cannot understand and describe eternal bliss and our abiding place with the Lord forever and ever. So the negatives are given here instead. All the horrible tyrannies that have come against humanity all these ages are no more. There's no longer any tears. There's no longer any death. There's no longer any mourning or crying or pain. These things have passed away. What a beautiful picture. If the Lord can't really help us understand the wonders of the eternal state, He can at least describe the wonders in a negative way, in the sense that these things that have plagued us forever and ever are no more. That alone is wonderful, and yet there's much beyond that. We'll pick up some of those pictures throughout the rest of these verses in chapter 21 and 22. We'll look at a little bit more of that tomorrow. We'll see you then.